What's going on, everyone? This is Brady Harrington, and you are listening to the Pump Podcast. Pump stands for Prepare Ultimate Mental Performance. This episode is brought to you by Hoop Culture. Hoop Culture is your off-the-court, unique and authentic basketball streetwear. You can use our 10% off code, HCFAM-PUMP. I repeat, HCFAM-PUMP to receive 10% off your next order. If you have any questions after the episode or you want to reach out for new ideas, please reach out to Harrington, HARRINGTON, pump@gmail.com, or you can reach out to our Instagram page, PUMP_pod. I really appreciate you giving this a listen. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. All right, welcome back, episode 17. I had to get some young studs on here now, man. I got two Elmira College athletes that I have the privilege of coaching the past 2 years. I got Riley Spencer here, and I got Owen Evans. Owen Evans is a junior, going to be a senior next year, going into his final year. And Riley Spencer, coming up in the spring, will be an alumni now of Elmira, just like that, man. I know it hits hard, but fellas, how you doing? You ready to go?
Yeah, definitely. Glad to be on.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on, man. I know everyone's been talking about it. I wanted to get a couple of players on now. It's the off season, so it's gonna be gotta get you guys on, a couple others, and Coach McGraw has been hounding me to get on too. So I got sprinkle some more Elmira College basketball in here now. So I'm very excited. But yeah, no, a big thing I wanted to start with, especially with you two, being in leadership roles, you're the guys that everyone else looks up to, really. And I'm going to start with you, Owen. How, just taking on the team captain role for the team, what's some advice you'd give to other up-and-coming team captains on what to expect and how to go about that, in the process of a whole season?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit stressful. This year added more stress. I mean, good stress though, but definitely added more to it than like previous years playing. I guess the word of advice, if you're gonna be the captain, you gotta be one of the hardest workers. I feel like you have to be in the trenches with all the guys to get them to respect you, because that's what it's all about, is just respecting each other, respecting the coaches, respecting.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. And were you a captain at all when you're at Niskayuna?
No, we didn't really
have team captain set up.
Not really, especially my senior year. We didn't really do captains. I think my buddy Gabe was the captain when we were there. But yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I don't know that guy. He's an Alfred guy.
Yeah,
we don't talk about yeah, we don't talk about those Alfred guys. No, okay. So this being your first time, because I didn't know whether or not if you had that opportunity in high school as well, but what were your first thoughts? What were some things that you were worried about going into it, that since you haven't done it before, that you might not know what to do, or anything that struck your mind? You're like, okay, I don't know how this is going to go, but I got to do as best as I can to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to, my goal was just to try and have, create, as much of a fun environment, as I can with the guys. I don't want them to be nervous to, do stuff around me that they think maybe they shouldn't. I think it's just all about, having fun, and, I know want to win games and everything, but we're going to remember just being with each other at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, that's great. And Riley, for you're also still, I know label-wise, it was just Owen as team captain, but you were another leader, the past couple of seasons, really. Want to start with, I think, a big reason why you are considered a leader, and everyone always thinks about just being vocal, holding down the locker room, everything like that, but you also just showed by your hard work in general. You never expected anything else, really, from what I've seen. And where did that it might not even be from the court, but when did you realize that just like the hard work, you gotta let that talk? Like, was there a certain point in your basketball career you were just like, I just need to put my head down and work? Because not a lot of athletes have. It's a skill. It is a skill at the end of the day. So when do you think you really develop that skill of being just that leader in regards to your actions?
Yeah, I think I look back to like 8th grade, 9th grade year. I realized that I wasn't going to be a 6'6" big man. I was going to be a undersized guard.
Yeah, I think all of us in this episode realized that right around that time.
I was going to be an undersized guard.
Yeah.
So I kind of just realized that if I'm not the hardest worker on the team or in the classroom, I knew I'd be behind and want to get any looks coming out of high school. And I think that early on in my high school career, I kind of just flipped a switch and realized that it's going to be a grind, but it'll pay off in the end.
Yeah. And this is a question for both of you guys, and I'll start with you again, Riley. Anytime throughout your career, either high school or college, was there any points, like, think back to the lowest of lows and like in regards to motivation, wanting to work hard towards what you're trying to achieve in basketball? When you reached that point, what got you, I'll use Owen's word for it, what got you out of the trenches?
Yeah, I think that just results. I was always a results driven person.
Okay.
I think that seeing all the off seasons, all the summers, working hard, and then kind of translated into my high school career, my junior, senior year. I think that was always been my motivator, even when I got to college too. Even when there wasn't results right off the bat, I kind of just knew that there would be the other side of it, and just got to keep working throughout it all.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, and do you go about any other way? You result driven too?
I like result driven, but I also just like feeling good about myself. Like when I go to bed at night, like I feel a lot better about myself. Like if I know I gave it my all or had a really productive day, I like that feeling a lot.
Yeah, when, I guess, before you do go to bed at night, when you did not have that feeling, like you didn't feel like you fully gave it your all, or it just wasn't a day where you put your best foot forward, how do you respond the next day?
Just try and start the day fresh, kind of wipe what happened, and try and get more stuff done that day.
Yeah, because I feel like, obviously from the coach's lens too, I know now we're in February and we're a week and a half out from where we left off this season, but the middle of the season, especially in upstate New York, when we talk about trenches, man, the cold weather, it's getting icy, it's snowy. You're coming off maybe a back-to-backer, you head into practice that week, and no matter how much you love basketball, the outside factors going into it, it's tough. It's tough to get up each and every day, especially being leaders, because you got to lead by example and show that you can't show any weakness. So during that middle of the season grind, and it's kind of going along the motivation and the hard work, is there anything else that for you guys, like for me, for example, anything I do off the court that can maybe either take care of my body, because obviously everyone gets sick during that time of the year too, so that's a pain within itself. But are there any other people that you guys lean on, or any resources besides your teammates or coaches that even help you to get up, that mid-season hustle?
Yeah, I think that obviously my parents would be a big support system through that. They've always been there. They come to most of the games. I think that when we talk about the trenches, I think it's just as much mental as it is the physical strain on
yeah.
I think that, mid-season, if it's not going our way individually and as a team, I think that just their mental aspect is not there. I think we all go through it. I think that, like I said, it's just as much mental. I think that it's tough to get out of it sometimes, but you just got to keep plugging along and know that it'll get better through the season.
Yeah, no, and one last thing, kind of like staying on that topic before we get into a couple other things. With this season especially, and also last year too, any recommendations, especially when we're talking about when things are getting real tough, the lows are getting real low, maybe even coming off a couple like back-to-back losses, or anything that's not going well for you individually, as players, and I'll start with you, what recommendations, tips, etc. work for you to help with that, not only for yourself but to get the team going again? Because when you don't see the results like Riley was talking about, then it gets even more frustrating. It's like, all right, where's my hard work going to? So what else do you have for that?
I mean, I would just say like it's really like I don't think everyone understands like how rare it is to be playing like college basketball. Like it's got to be such a small percentage of people that play college basketball. So I think it's just really important that never like don't take it for granted. Like people would kill to be have the opportunity that we have to play the sport we've been playing as kids, like every single day. So
yeah, awesome. Right, do you have any other?
Yeah, I think that definitely agree with Owen in that instance. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and just live in the moment, honestly, because you're not gonna. I've kind of realized life fast, and one day it's just gonna be over. So
Yeah,
no matter if you're on a 3-game losing streak or a 3-game winning streak, you kind of just have to realize where you're at and appreciate it, and don't get too hard on yourself mentally, and just kind of just keep riding the wave.
yeah, no, and perspective is huge. I don't think enough people realize especially when you're in that situation. It's easy for us to talk about it now since we're out of the season. You look back, and myself included, I'm sitting around today, I'm like, holy shit, I got this amount of free time now after work, and I can't see the fellas today. I don't have a game coming up to look forward to, and it's like, man, now you start to miss those little things. So yeah, perspective as well for those of you listening that still in your seasons or about to be approaching another season. The days add on quick, and it seems like it lasts forever, but all of a sudden when you're missing it, and you're looking back on it, you're like, man, I could have given this a little bit more or had a better perspective when things were at a low. So, good stuff, fellas. So shifting gears a little bit, I mentioned before that, Riley, you're going to be an Elmira College alum coming up soon. And it ties back into a little bit with what we're talking about of not losing sight of where you're at, and it goes by quick, not taking it for granted. Horn sounds, game's over. When we were at Cuca last week, I'll start with this. Was it the same type of feeling at Chenango Valley after the last buzzer sounded for them as well? Give me like a little bit of a rundown of just comparing those feelings, what the same things you felt and what were some different things you felt once everything kind of settled in for you, and that was it.
I think that, both times, once I realized it was over, just a wave of emotions. I think in high school it was a different type of emotions, just because I knew that I had something else going
coming for you after that. Yeah,
past high school. I knew I was going to keep playing, not downplaying the feeling in high school, because it's a totally different game than college, and I think that for a lot of things about school. But to take it back to Cuca and ending it there, I think that it was just multiplied by 10. I think that because it's done now. Been playing the sport for my whole life, and then just like that, it was over. And I think that I look back on it, it's kind of just gonna miss the guys as much as anything else. I think that we take that for granted. I think coming into college, it's an automatic friend system right off the bat. I know we're a pretty close team, but yeah, I think more than anything, probably just miss the team camaraderie through that. I think that I obviously missed basketball as well, but the main thing was just spending time with the guys, bus trips, staying over in hotels, stuff like that.
Yeah, because what was that short clip too? There's a player, I believe, from Boston College a couple of years ago, and he was like in the interview, or like, what are you gonna miss the most? And what do you say, like the food or something like that?
Eating with the guys or something.
Yeah, eating with the guys, and I'm like, huh. And then but that's what he's kind of trying to spew out, is that like even just the pregame meals, hanging out with the guys on a 3-hour road trip, going to Wegmans, going to or wherever, going to get the food beforehand, and just hanging out with them. That stuff doesn't last. Even like simple stuff like that. I mean, me as a 27-year-old now, I have to like plan that out in advance with a friend from college and friend from home, and like get people together, and that's like an event for a college sport and athletics at any level, that's just something you guys do on the regular. That's, dining hall here or on the road, like the little things like that is that's another thing that's just overlooked in athletics. It's not just the wins and losses, and I don't think people realize that have not played anything or been a part of that, or even at the college level. That expands. I think that's another reason too for your feeling, like you said, it was multiplied by 10 after college. Is that feeling just adds in even more for that. And since you're headed into your senior year, just kind of from what Riley's saying right now, and just seeing it from him and Aaron from this year, what have you learned from them so you don't take anything for granted, or any other types of perspective that can make you feel that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's definitely like really, really upsetting seeing like Riles and Aaron leave, and it's just like I hope we can like do right, like kind of like they paved the way for us, and like I just really want to get it right last year, like next year. I mean, I just remember the feeling of like high school, like the last high school game I had, like that's kind of what made me want to play in college, just because I'd still like I was really going back and forth. I was honestly leaning towards not playing basketball in college, but then like after like my last high school game,
I got
like,
more in me.
Like damn, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. So for athletes at any sport, any level, any gender, what do you recommend, like when they're on the fence, kind of like you were then? What helps them? Because some maybe shouldn't. Like some maybe like shouldn't at all, just because they might not either love the game enough. They might not. There's just something about it that they're maybe even playing for the wrong reasons. If it is for the right reasons, what do you think could push them over the edge to, I guess, like convince them if they have those opportunities in front of them to end up playing?
I feel like you'll kind of know, like in your gut
Feeling.
or whatever, like if you'll know if you're gonna be like it's a really big sacrifice, and like I personally think it's totally worth it. But I know other people don't feel that way. It's just really a question of how much are you willing to sacrifice to play a sport in college.
Yeah. And Riley, I know with you, you probably didn't have too many. I think you were pretty set straight on playing hoops afterward. So like with you, just like even in high school, I feel like even just talking with athletes myself, and recruits that are possibly joining the team this coming year, even from last year, we always say, hey, make sure you enjoy your senior year of high school. Like we want you to focus on us, but at the same time, don't overlook it. How did you, and I didn't get to have you your first year, but so this is kind of something I want to know personally. How did you go about your senior year at Chenango Valley without thinking about college too much, and even let that distract your, just kind of really your vision for the team the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I thought about it. I'm not gonna lie, I did think about it.
Yeah, no, it's hard not to. You got to, at certain points you got to focus on it, and
Yeah, it was always in the back of my mind. I think that I kind of set myself up good. I kind of had like a top 3 going into my senior year.
okay,
Wasn't like very wide open, so I kind of knew the 3 that I was looking at, and I kind of set those 3 before the season started, and then I was transparent with not saying that I'm not going to make a decision till after the season. I kind of just wanted to play out that season, see what happens.
yeah,
And not really worry about it too much. I was fortunate to have Coach McGraw and Coach Piss, our old assistant. They came to most every game. Yeah, I think that if I was in high school still, I think that just stay in the moment and enjoy it. Different. It's a good different from college to high school, but there's nothing's ever going to be like high school playing hoops with the kids that you grew up with playing with.
yeah. You're basically with them 3 times as long.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I think that, I mean, once you get to college, it's all business. But in high school, it's not as serious, but not as, not too crazy. You can enjoy a lot. But yeah, I think that obviously you're always going to think about it, but as best as you can, try to compartmentalize it during the season, your last year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is for both of you because I know you both. You came from different playing styles, going from Niskayuna and Chenango Valley to Elmira. Oh, and I'll go back to you real quick. What was it like? Because I think there's a huge thing for any sport of adjusting to play style, because it's got to be the right thing. That's our job as coaches as well, is to make sure that we get the right players to come in that can match it and also will like playing within that system. So leaving from Niskayuna and kind of jumping back to your freshman year and even, these past couple of years, anything that stood out to you that once you got on the court and you're a college basketball player now was kind of like an oh shit moment? And also you as a player, like you have to find yourself as a college athlete again, because it's through, youth club, AAU, and then high school. So how did you, what were a couple things you had to do to adjust, and what do you recommend for that?
I think the biggest thing is how much more exhausting it is to play. Even 5 minutes in a college game is very, very tiring. And going from high school, pretty much playing the whole entire game to just not be physically being able to do that was pretty crazy at first. And just how much better everyone was in college than high school. Most high school kids couldn't really hit a one dribble pull up, but now I feel like pretty much most college basketball, at least guards, are hitting that.
Yeah. So really, physically in general, that's something I feel like making that jump. It doesn't seem like it at first. I remember even talking about the other day, just in the office, talking with some of the guys, and that jump from the high school 3-point line to the college 3-point line, it really it makes a huge difference, man. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
I mean, for myself, I was shooting from the volleyball line, high school and college. That didn't matter either way. There's no difference. But yeah, just little detailed stuff like that, and like Owen mentioned, getting up and down at the college level, and the speed is just in everything, really. Football, and even lining up everything with baseball and any other sport. You got to find ways early to really just kind of expose yourself to the highest level possible, so you're ready for that, because it hits quick, man. Ryan, do you have anything else to add on that? Even anything mentally that I know Owen covered a lot physically, but do you have anything on the mental side that you had to prepare for?
I think the biggest adjustment mentally is just kind of everything being amplified from high school to college. Just individually, I think that obviously as a coach, you have to put the best guy out there. And if, one play slacking, you're done. You're gonna get subbed down. I think that coming in high school to college, that was kind of just the main thing, knowing that there's 2 or 3 more guys that are itching to take your minutes and your spot. Obviously in high school, it didn't really have that. And I think mentally that was the biggest adjustment, knowing that every shot, every time down the court, every defensive play really, really does matter for the team and your individual minutes.
Yeah. And how do you guys, now that's been 3 years playing at the college level, what are a couple things that you do personally that help you either, I guess, take it off your mind or make you more competitive when since it's a competitive world, man, you got a couple players breathing down your neck if you're not performing? What were a couple strategies that got you over the hump of, all right, I'm not going to worry about this. I'm just going to go out there and play my game and let the rest do the talking?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like if there is somebody playing over me like that, that's got to mean it's helping the team do better. So I'm not obviously I want to be out there and playing, but if someone else is hot, playing really good in practice, they're giving us a better chance to win, by all means, No,
I think he said it perfectly. I think that obviously if you're in the position that someone is playing over you, I think as a competitor, you take in practice, really lock in and make sure that you're doing as much as you can to try to get that spot back. And I think that it's not an individual thing. I think it's a team thing at the end of the day too, because if you have guys on the team that are competitive and want minutes, I think that you're doing the team coaches a disservice, because I think that that's where the competitiveness comes in, and then it's kind of just the next guy is just getting better from that competitive nature.
Yeah. No, it's both ends of things. Like obviously, you as a individual, you want to be as competitive as possible to earn the most minutes that you can to get on the court, but also if there's certain drills in anything, any sport, that you're half-assing it while someone else is trying to get better, then you're doing your teammate a disservice, like you said, Riley, on helping them get better, because it's not all about where you're at. Like you've got to make sure if you're not doing it for yourself, you got to do it for your teammates type of mentality, because you can't bring everyone else down with you, or else that's also something else that could really not only do something to yourself, but for the team in general. And that's another good adjustment, really, because obviously in high school, there's a little bit more of a green light since you don't have too many more people behind it for the most part. So making sure, both those ends are covered, that's pretty good. So yeah, no, that's great. Practicing games throughout a season. I've always wondered this just from you guys and everyone else, and everyone's different, really. I have my own, I had my own as a player, I had my own as a coach. Let's start with before practice. Do you guys have any type of routine, like pre-practice, post-practice, that you go by?
For practices, I wouldn't say like a set routine. I mean, usually 6 o'clock practice, eat 5-ish,
Yeah.
or 5:30, go to the training room, chat it up with the guys and Maria.
Yeah.
It's always a staple, but not particularly for practice, I wouldn't say.
Okay. Well, what about games?
For games, I don't know why, but I always have to take a shower before the games.
Okay. Gotta be clean out there. Okay.
Big proponent of look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah. You gotta get the best look. Okay. So shower before the games, get the mind right. Do you have any practice or game routines?
I'm like Riles. I always shower and get a shave in before the game.
Oh, man, so bold. Okay, you guys
Yeah.
want to look as good as possible. Get out there. Okay. Yeah.
But not really before games. Like listen to music maybe.
Yeah. Any particular music?
No, not really.
Whatever comes to mind that day. I didn't know if one of you were like I know some people, like I remember, I think it was Russell Westbrook. He had like some smooth jazz going at one point in his career. Or, LeBron reads a book before a game, and all these other guys. I've always wondered, like, I think for college athletes too, it's just kind of like, let's go out there and play. There's not a whole lot of set things you got to do that get you out there, get you right until you get on the court. I don't know if I'm the only one, but pregame coach or player, it drives me nuts just waiting for a game in general. Just waiting for a game. Like, obviously, it's good that like the guys and girls watch each other's games and they go before and after. But once you get somewhere, or it's the day of a game, I just wish it happened. And I think the wait is a huge buildup for me. Even coaching now too. You just want to get out there and go play and like just get a ball in your hands or get on the court and feel things out. I was just wondering. So showers, okay. I wonder how many people trying to look clean before the game, so I'll keep that in mind. So let's talk a little campus life. Besides just everything basketball, there's a lot more. Obviously, a little bit before we get into preseason, and now we're in the postseason until the rest of the time. I'll start with you, since you did develop something for yourself. We Schmo clips.
But yeah,
Schmo clips. We got that going. I know we asked you before a little bit. I remember it. Like, what was the inspiration? I just want to try something new. Was there anything else that came to mind at first? You're like, let me try this, let me try that, and then Schmo clips came about, or how is that process of kind of developing something?
Yeah, I mean, I
basketball.
feel like I've always kind of had like different like interests. I feel like growing up, like I kind of throw myself into these like different things.
Yeah, were you in any like clubs in high school or anything like that?
Not really. Like once, like when I was like really young, like I had like Magic and like WWE stuff.
Archery.
Like, once it was like sports, I'd really like threw myself into that. But I'd always been interested by like mixtapes and things like that. So I just decided to try it.
Okay.
What's the best mixtape all time?
Oh, that I've done?
No, like
No, in
like
general. Like you talking about whole mixtape?
Yeah. I would say Zion's, to be honest.
Right, what do you got?
gotta go with my boy Mac, bro.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. That's a given. Man, that's a tough one. You guys know he's a little bit older. You know Akil Carr. Akil, look up Akil Carr's mixtape. He's like a 5'8" lefty. I mean, he might be 5'7" actually. His was ridiculous. Yeah, that's when mixtapes started to get hot, was right around that time. So and Riley, actually, I want to get from your perspective too, just being a general viewer, what entails a good mixtape and what entails a bad mixtape? Like what do you need in a quality mixtape to catch the viewer's eye and, make it look the best?
I think you need a staple and one in there somewhere.
Okay.
And one flexing on the camera.
Yeah, so kind of like a little interaction with the camera guy.
Yeah, maybe to start it off.
Yeah.
Get some good handles in there, even if it doesn't lead to a bucket. I think you throw some handles in there. I think.
All right, so someone's gonna make a move, but they like right before he misses the layup,
Yeah,
like that's
just cut it.
Okay.
Oh, the smoke play.
Okay. Oh, what else you got?
I think
Like when you're developing some, what do you make sure to include? What even like the team mixtapes that you do?
Yeah. I think honestly, like, it's gonna sound crazy, but the thing that I like think about the most and like I feel like I put the most like actual thought into is like the song. Because I feel like
Oh, that's not too crazy.
Song, yeah, like the other, like there was one, I don't remember what it was, but there was like I could not find like a good like a song like I really liked or like thought would be good. So I feel like that's like the most important thing. Not the most important thing, but like definitely plays a big part.
Yeah, it just needs to like match, I guess, the vibe of how the game went and what the speed of it is and everything. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm trying to think too if there's anything else with mixtapes. Like even when I come across like recruits, their highlight tapes of what there is. I mean, depends like what you're trying to get out of it. If it's just, showing the highlights of the game in general, yeah, you won't show all the cool stuff. Kind of have a little variety and blend to it. So, and then when you did come across to Schmo and Clips, I know you said you had like you always had like a kind of like a natural like act for it, like you enjoyed like watching them. Did you ever see anything in person, like either watching someone produce or edit film that got you in it, I guess?
No, it's literally like all like YouTube tutorials and YouTube shorts. Like once it's weird, like once it's kind of creepy, but like once I like searched like one thing up.
Oh, the algorithm.
All I was seeing was like Adobe Premiere Pro like tricks and things like that.
And it just reels you into any of your interests.
Exactly.
Okay. Ryan, what were some of your interests outside of basketball that you developed over time throughout your college years?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, last off season, I did get into boxing a little bit.
Yep. I understand that.
I honestly really enjoyed that. I think I found that even mentally, it was good. I think just to go something other than basketball. Not saying Not saying basketball is bad, but I think in the off season, it's good to find a different means of training other than just repping out your main sport. I think that
it's a hell of a workout in general.
Yeah, some of the hardest workouts I've done. I think that it did get me in good shape, but that's one of the kind of side hobbies that I've had brought up since last year.
Yeah, what were obviously the physical benefits kind of reek from that, but did you just walking away from it, say like a couple minutes after when you're leaving whatever gym you went to do it? What other feelings did you get out of it? Did it help with any other like stressors you had going on in your life? Did it help with maybe just even more energy after you're done with it?
Yeah, I think that people think that it's kind of a violent thing to do, but
yeah.
Honestly, like when you're doing it, it's not. I didn't find it violent at all. I think that that's like an art at sometimes because it's a lot of more footwork than I thought it was. So I think that kind of I got up early and did it. I think that was I think that's always good for people early risers is good. I think when people are still sleeping and you're up, I think that mentally, I think that does
Feels good.
feels good. And I think that really, it did help me post workouts. It was good just to kind of clear your head and do something other than basketball right out the season. I think is vital to.
Yeah, yeah. And I think with most athletes that are really into and have a true love for one of their sports, in high school, it's hard to take your mind off it and appreciate the other things. So in college, since you guys talking about both some side things now with boxing and Schmo and Clips, how important is it? Do you think, just like what's your perspective now? Like, does that translate over for you guys once you get on the court? I watched the Starting Five documentary on Netflix with like LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Tatum, Sabonis. I might be missing one other guy. Them just as adults and just individuals in general, with most of them having families. Oh, and Ant Edwards, that's the other guy. Once they got outside the court, especially I know like with Jimmy Butler and Sabonis with their families and their kids, they didn't give a damn about basketball one bit. I mean, that's their livelihood. I know it's a little bit different with professional NBA players that, hey, once we get to, like Jimmy Butler said, once they get to the household, he doesn't even want anyone talking about basketball. Like, we're not watching it. We're not talking about it. Like, I'll get to that once. That's my other life I live. Do you guys feel like you kind of need to put on two different masks as student athletes? Like, one, being the athlete you are, getting onto the court, taking care of your business, and two, taking care of your academics, enjoy being a college kid? Or what's that process like, and how have you been able to manage that? Either one of you can start out.
I think that people say burnout with your sport.
Yeah.
Talks about. I think that's a real thing. I think that there has to be a separation between your sport and your everyday life. You can't bring your sports frustrations into your everyday life, because then it'll become you, and then eventually you'll just resent the sport that you've played all throughout your life. And I think that when an athlete reaches that point, there's not much you can do. And I think that you have to find other things outside of your athletics to immerse yourself into, to get your mind off of it. Taking it back to the documentary, I think Jimmy played dominoes with his dad.
Yeah.
I think, as stupid as that sounds, I think that it does help. And as an athlete, you do have to find different outlets outside of your main sport. It's anything like a job too. Parents don't bring their jobs home. They don't want to bring their jobs home to your kids. I think that you can look at the same lens as a college athlete. Not saying.
No, it's a two-way street. You don't want to bring your academic or college life onto the court, and you don't want to bring your on the court life back into the dorms or in the classroom. So no, that's good. Oh, you got anything to piggyback off that?
I mean, no, I think Riley covered it really good. I agree with what he said.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to balance it. I remember, you guys ever played pitch before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, or what about euchre, Rye? You ever play euchre? Okay, all right, so it's kind of like euchre, but yeah, pitch was like when I played in high school and college. It's a card game, and that was one thing, just like with the guys all the time, like off the court, is kind of like a cool, like, just hang out type of deal, or maybe even on the bus waiting for games. Little things like that. I feel like there's unhealthy distractions, and then there's distractions that have benefits to it as well. Stuff like that, like the boxing and any other interests you pick up with the mixtapes and everything else in between. No, it's stuff that kind of keep your motor going once you do get into stuff that you do every day. Oh. So yeah, a couple other things just with balancing, because like both of you have done a great job just balancing your academic life and your basketball life. I didn't even realize this until I got to college. When you guys got in, like your very first week of school, and it changes all your schedules with every semester, but what was that feeling like of, I guess, like that college freedom with your classes, going from high school, middle school, periods 1 to 9, 1 to 10, whatever, 8 to 3, and then you can kind of choose your own schedule a little bit with college. But what's that? Has that made you a better student, worse student? Do you think you guys benefit from it? How's that? What was that feeling for you guys?
Oh, it was definitely like awesome at first, like
Yeah.
going from high school to college, like living with the kids you also like play basketball with, like turning like your best friends. But I was definitely like really excited for it. But I think like having like the more of like free time, I think that has helped made me like a better student. Just because like now, like before, like you had to be in school, it was a law, but now it's kind of have a choice, and it's more like on you to get your schoolwork done and get to class on time, like study for exams. So I think it's definitely like made me a better student, like a more oriented person.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, when I taught a couple college classes, I told the kids right in the beginning, hey, you guys are paying for this. This is your investment. So if you're gonna slack off, if you're gonna show up late, if you're not gonna put the extra work in, the time, that's on you. I'm not gonna hound you to, like, high school, like you were saying. Now it's not like a law anymore. Like if you're gonna, it's your choice. You can fall down this crack. I'll try to help you, but not gonna I'm not gonna, I guess, go too much farther out of the way just to get you into that. What other thoughts you got for that, Rye?
Yeah, I think Owen touched on it perfectly. Personally, I think I've done better in college than in high school with grades aspect. I think that the free time, it's people say that, oh, you gotta manage your time well, but I think that the free time has allowed me to focus on, studying, getting your homework done in the library. I think that even having a library a couple steps from your dorm, I think is huge because it kind of gives you a different space to get your work done.
Yeah, you got that separation from all the distractions.
Yeah, which I found huge. But yeah, I think that, people say college is harder, but I don't really agree with that. Because I think that the added time that you have, if you use it right, I think you can succeed more than you did in high school personally.
Yeah, and you're going what you want to go for too.
Yeah.
You're choosing your major. You're choosing your time schedule. How, on a list of priorities for you guys, where's time management at for you? Is that something like that's up there? That's like, okay, time management's huge for me, or is it like, nah, not really. I got my stuff taken care of.
Oh, I don't know if you want to go first.
I'd say like it's definitely like it's hard to say. Like I feel like there's so many different
There's a
things
lot.
now.
What do you? So I'll start with this then. What's a big trait and quality, a part of you that you had to develop once you got to college? Like, what's one big thing to, like, you're just? I mean, because once you get to college, this is the first step of really becoming an adult and
Yeah,
independence. Like, was there what's one? There's a little bit of a.
yeah. This is deep. This is deep. I wasn't expecting this, man. Oh yeah, Rouse.
Oh, well, you can go.
I would just say like individualism, like being like your own person, like not being like scared of like doing things like by yourself, like
Good one. It's a good one.
going like there's a good like I know a bunch of kids that like need buddies to go like to the dining hall with, like they won't go by themselves or go somewhere
Yep.
by themselves, and you got to do what you got to do. Like I feel like I sit by myself in the dining hall like at least once a day. It just like happens, but I think that's the biggest thing I've like picked up on.
Yeah, I think me and Owen are kind of similar in that aspect. I think kind of just doing your own thing sometimes is kind of the best thing for you, like sitting alone in the dining hall. I mean, honestly, I kind of enjoy that sometimes.
Yeah.
Not every time, obviously, but you kind of just unplug from the day, put your headphones on, do what you want to do, and kind of recharge. Honestly, I think that alone time is key in college because you're gonna have it, and I think that you kind of learn more about yourself in your alone time than you do when you're around a group of people.
That's a really good one. Yeah, time management's obviously important, but being independent, man, you gotta figure stuff out on your own sooner than later. So it's once you get to that step, and because once you get to adulthood, either you live on your own or try to do whatever. Like, get to know yourself. Get to know yourself as best as you can as just a college student athlete and a college student in general. It's those are some good ones. But all right, well, I'll close up on one last one. If you guys haven't heard before, I do right at the end. It's kind of put into basketball terms. There's like the bonus time now. So there's like, I call it the 1-and-1. So I'm trying to, I need like a graphic. I need like a graphic right here that like just hammers right down and says, this is the 1-and-1. Like, have a big moment. But this is the last thing that like I'll put out there. I'll give my take on it. You guys give your take on it. It's not like too much of a debate, but it's just kind of giving different perspectives on kind of like a common trend that goes around in recent that I've thought of that I always want to hear my guests feedback on and see what they think, because I always get a bunch of different answers. So just in regards to, we'll go back to, on the court real quick, being a student athlete. During your time in general, I've kind of bounced back and forth with it just throughout my time playing, and I think it changes high school to college, and then also with just my coaching in general. But when you guys are just going through just your entire year of everything that you go through, because it's a lot that you try to balance and you try to do, and it goes back to like the quality and traits that we talked about a little bit. But what's going to be your biggest takeaway once you leave Elmira College? Obviously, Riot's going to come up for you a little bit more. What do you just need to take away that, from athletics or from just being a college student? I know the independency, the time management are like a couple of big things. What's something that's like underrated, that even if you're thinking about going to college or you're not thinking about going to college, that you just can't make up in the real world? Like, this guy that went to college knows how to do this because, they figured it out. Is there anything that, from your guys' college experience that has popped up in your mind that you're like, you might not, like, sometimes you might not know until you're out of it and you see it. But like one big example for me is just in general, tiers of relationships with people, and kind of like the level of trust you have with people, how to maybe keep a couple circles tighter than some others. That was my takeaway once I got out of college, how to balance friendships, relationships in general. Do you guys have anything that was a super long one? Wow. But
first on this one, I'm still kind of thinking.
Yeah. So anything, I mean, I thought relationships are a big one, just like kind of coming out of college. Even what you get out from your, I thought this too, and it was nice that it blended together, like from your guys' outside interests that you came away with it.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is just like how to properly like treat people. Like, I feel like especially like basketball and like leadership, like going from like a freshman to Quintel Clemens, shout out Q, being our captain, just like seeing like how welcoming he made me feel as a freshman, and like how he'd take the time to like ask how my day is going, like pat me on the back, just crack jokes, make me feel welcomed and a part of the family. And I just like felt like it, like complete, like flash forward, and now like I'm trying to do as good of a job as he did, and I'll still like carry that with me, especially like when I'm applying for jobs and working and stuff, just continuing to be like as like I want to be as like fun and like to be around. I want to be that guy that's just a pleasure to be around. So I feel like kind of started here.
No, that's a great one, because especially interactions are at an all-time low from what it seems like, and just in general. Obviously, people talk about the phones, technology. People don't know how to communicate with each other sometimes, and they don't understand the importance of just checking in on someone, and this how you word things, how you everything just everything's a little off right now. I don't know if that's going to change or not, these upcoming years, but I think that's one thing, becoming an adult really, of when you're in college, those words and those, how you treat people is great. What do you got, Rye?
I think that something that kind of goes unnoticed sometimes, and something that I've kind of taken throughout high school and through college. I think that just having confidence in yourself, in your ability, no matter if it's the schoolwork, in your athletics, I think that having confidence is huge in self-worth. I think that if you walk into a gym, I mean, you have to think that sometimes you're delusional when you think this, but you got to think that you're the best player in the gym. And I think that translates into performance too, as well. Even in the classroom too, just confidence in your preparation, whether it's a test, homework. I think that confidence is key to have throughout high school and college, because if you lose your confidence, then sometimes it can spiral out of control. And I think that just having that throughout is
keeping it stable. Yeah, awesome, fellas, man. So we got the relationships, we got how you take care, like how you treat people, confidence, independency. I almost felt like I tested you guys, and you guys passed with flying colors, man. I felt bad for dropping a couple bombs of questions that took a minute to basically ask, but no, you guys did awesome, man. It's great advice for people just to hear, man, of getting different perspectives. This is why I do it. Thank you to everyone who has taken the time out of their day to give the Pump podcast a listen. Please give us a follow on Instagram or TikTok at pump_pod. You can also tune in on our YouTube or Spotify channels. Last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, concerns on any of the episodes or future episodes coming up, please email harringtonpump@gmail.com. Once again, thank you for listening, and hope you can tune in soon.